Hey you guys, it's Rachel here with Senza Tempo Cane Corso. So we have a new dog here that is being boarded. This is Zafi. She is going to be here for training for a little over 2 weeks. And yeah, just wanted to show you guys. This is the first time that she's been introduced to the pack. Or most of the pack, not all of them. She's doing well. She didn't do any barking. She's not cowering. So she seems to have a pretty solid temperament. The one thing I did notice is that she does have a lot of energy, and she is, needing some discipline to be her best self. So we will be working with her on that, working with some basic obedience, and just teaching her some basic manners. The owners, Cashmere, quit! On top of having... Cashmere, I said stop it. Leave her alone. Now. Velocity, quit getting in her face. You're making it happen to you. Stop it, I said. Leave Cashmere alone. So anyway, so they are expecting a baby, and so they need to make sure that she's going to be on her best behavior. That way they can trust that she's going to be safer on the kid. I don't think that there's any worry of her biting or attacking, but jumping or... like accidentally hurting the child would be the main concern here. Not that she's an aggressive dog, because I haven't seen anything out of her that would indicate aggression. She actually reminds me a lot of Gina. She's very happy and, she's just super puppy. You know what I mean? Super energetic, super puppy, typical Corso, very stubborn. And so, yeah, she's here, and I will be doing some videos on training with her. And so, yeah, I like to initially introduce the dogs through the kennel. That way she kind of gets to smell them. They get to smell her. They get used to her before we take her out there and start working with her with the pack, because ultimately that is what is going to ensure that she doesn't get too scared or anything like that, and that they don't feel the need to really assert themselves. Cashmere over here, tail up. Dominant female. She's got slightly hackles raised, but not actually too much. Cashmere kind of knows the drill. Yeah, see? So, just basically letting her know who she is, walking up, doing Preacher as usual. His tail's not up. He's not being aggressive. He's wagging his tail. He's like, he knows better. He's like, that's a lady. He's like, I know how to treat a whammon. So he's like, I respect whammon. Batista, not so much. He is a fool, and so he has a tendency to not really quite know how to behave quite at first. So he was trying to get all hyped up whenever I was talking to her owner, and sitting in the room, trying to scratch on my door, thinking he was going to get all amped up. I had to go in there and settle him down, get him to recognize that he needs to behave himself. But other than that, they've all been doing really well. As you can see, now he's settled down. Really not too interested. He'll keep an eye on her, but he's not too interested. But overall, whenever I first bring a dog in like this, what I do is I really make sure that they get to just be, in their kennel and just kind of calm down and get to see the way that everybody interacts. It's very important that she observes the interaction between the pack so that she knows who's who, so that she doesn't really mess up and make a mistake. Hey. So she started to bark, and of course the pack isn't going to tolerate that. So Blondie didn't really know what was going on, and so she kind of actually checked her mother a little bit just then. Blondie. And that's why this is important to do through the fence, through the kennel. That way she learns some respect. So she tried to get a little assertive with the dogs. Now, I don't know if you can see, but do you see how she's kind of keeping her ears back? Okay, you see how they're kind of pushed back on her head a bit? That is submission. That is an I'm sorry, that is a my bad. Okay, that's what that communication is. So Batista's over here using his body to block her from the rest of the house. That's his way of trying to be protective. Cashmere's coming over, tail up. Even though it looks like she's ignoring her, she's actually communicating very clearly to her who she is. And she's getting in, and you see the other puppy get back. See how she went to the back of the kennel and sat down. That's her being more respectful. Instead of being by the door trying to get out, she's sitting back and she's kind of calming down a bit. And so this is an excellent way for no one to get hurt and for them to kind of learn where they are and where they should be acting. She started to get a little loud, started to push herself a little bit, which is, like I said, her problem. She does have a tendency to be pushy and kind of do her own thing. And so the pack is just kind of settling in around her, observing her, keeping an eye. As long as she behaves, everyone else behaves. You see Blondie's not being aggressive so long as she's being sweet and nice and respectful. So that was an opportunity for her to learn. She pushed a boundary, and they set that boundary, right? She pushed a little bit, and they pushed back. And that's typically what any pack will do. It's very normal. It doesn't mean that they want to hurt her. It means that they're letting her know that there are ways of behaving in this home, and you just broke a rule. You know, you don't get to bark at the pack. You don't get to be disrespectful. So you see here, she's uneasy. She wants to go to the door, and she wants out. And now she's being told, no, you don't. You need to sit back. You need to chill out. That's what she's being told. Get away, Blondie. So now you can see the ears are back. Like I said, you see how she's got that ear back? That is all signs of submission, right? They're telling her that you need to calm down and be chill if you want to be in this house. You see how she's laying down now? Much more respectful, not trying to get out. Cashmere. So Cashmere is basically dominating her and letting her know, because what she wanted to do is she wanted to come over by this door and start freaking out a little bit, probably kicking the door, probably doing the kinds of things that a puppy is going to want to do to get out. Especially a puppy like her that's, you know, pretty energetic and has a very strong temperament. You know what I mean? I wouldn't say she's overly dominant or anything like that, but she does have a very strong will to her. And so that's Cashmere letting her know, don't come out here trying that. You know what I mean? Be respectful or there will be discipline, right? And that's why she kind of laid down. She understood the communication. Batista's over here keeping an eye on her, making sure that she maintains a respectful disposition. You can see her ears are still the same. They're slightly back, especially the one that you can't see, the one that's on the other side. They're not perked forward. They're back. That's a much more relaxed and respectful way of being. So they're basically teaching her, you can be here, and as long as you're respectful and your energy's good, you're fine. Nobody's going to mess with you. We will relax around you. But the minute that you start to freak out, the minute that you want to get aggressive, that's going to be a problem. So you see how Batista, she started to pant pretty heavy there. Batista started eyeballing her. And immediately she started to do what we call avoidance, which is where she didn't want to make eye contact and she actually was looking in the opposite direction. That's a very respectful thing for her to do. That's what she should be doing. She should be chill. She should not be getting overly amped up about the door or anything like that. So this is literally a battle of energy, right? She has a high energy. They know that. They are around her. They're keeping an eye. They're being respectful so long as she's being respectful. The minute that she starts to freak out, the minute that she starts to go over here by the door and she starts to want to get out, the minute that my pack is going to walk up and be like, hey, you need to settle down. You need to calm down. Because that energy is not the way that you're respectful in somebody else's home. And that's what they're going to teach her. So there she is, starting to calm down a little bit, starting to look around, and that's a good thing. I typically do not start working with the dog right away. It's not right to do that to them because they're stressed out. They really need to get used to where they are and get over actually being somewhere else other than their home. As long as they're freaking out about not being home, they're not really going to be receptive to the training. So the best thing to do at this point is just to give her the opportunity to get to know the pack and the pack rules before there are actual real world interactions between them. That way she understands very clearly what the limitations are and what she can and cannot do with the pack. That way she's less likely to make a mistake. So you can see her over here. She wants to get out. She's freaking out a little bit. She wants out. She's trying to find a way to get out without being by them, which is over there by the wall, even though She doesn't know she can't really get out there. And as you can see, Cashmere's starting to pay attention. So the more that she kind of freaks out, the more that Cashmere's going to say, you need to be calm, you need to settle down. And that's what Cashmere's communicating. Remember how I said she's not actually looking out the mirror? What she's really doing is showing her body. She's showing her size. She's showing her side profile to look big. The tail is up. She's communicating by growling that you need to settle down. And as you can see, Zafi is actually laying in the back. Cashmere, move out of the way so I can see. So you see how she's laying down now? So Cashmere is teaching her to be calm, okay? Teaching her that if you're not calm, there are consequences. You can lay in there and you can be chill and everyone will leave you alone and everything will be fine. But if you start to freak out and if you start to kind of get where you're going to start digging and you start freaking out, then they're going to come over and they're going to communicate to her that that kind of behavior, that kind of energy is not okay here. And so anyway, so I just wanted to kind of show you guys, and I'll be updating you guys on all the training with her. But in the meantime, this is her initial, this is how we welcome people, or welcome, especially not one of my dogs, but somebody else's dogs into the pack. This is how we start training, is by letting them meet the pack and letting them learn some rules and some guidance right from the start. Because as you can see here, she's learning right now. Get down right now, Batista. No, sir. So, so anyway, so she's learning. Batista's, so you see he's starting to light up a little bit. He's starting to be his puppy self. Because even though he's a big male and he's a protector, it's not quite in him yet to be that way. There's a part of him that wants to do that, and there's another part of him that just wants to play. I will take her food bowl out of there because it is kind of taking up some space. So I'll take that out of there. That way she has more space to lay down. And then, like I said, we're just going to give them some time to get to know each other and just kind of learn a little bit of give and take between the two of them. And then I'll start working with her later on this evening. So anyway, just wanted to give you guys an update on what's going on today, and I'll talk at you later. Bye.